Mechanism Monday, public eye. All right, listen. Not this past episode, but if you check the Mechanism Monday session before the last one, you'll hear me beef about Dame and Cam going at it. Not tripping that they have issues with each other, because that's life, but more about the fact that the world knew about it. And it feels like hearing that the universe decided to piss on my cakes, because all I've seen this past week is personal issues expressed to the public, for the public, in the public. And when the topic of Nicki and Cardi originally came up in an interview I just did, shout out to the good fellas over at the Need to Know Pod, we got at the obvious talking points. Is this considered being in women's business? The biggest difference between them versus Kendrick and Drake. Are we/am I a hypocrite for not liking a personal talk on Twitter versus being all for the inside insults between Dot and Aubrey? All questions we confronted and got into during the episode, among others. Stay tuned. But a takeaway we didn't take on was my belief that all beef is worse when it's done in public. Not exactly a hot take, but case in point, Aisha Curry, who's not even beefing with her husband as far as we know, just had a quote come up from an old interview where she said, I didn't want kids, I didn't want to get married, I thought I was going to be a career girl, and that's it. Which, when taken at surface value and not in context with the rest of the interview, sounds like she kind of regrets how her life turns out, resents her husband and her family as it's currently structured. When taken in context with the rest of the interview, it sounds more like an honest assessment of her expectations versus her lived experiences and choices that she still loves, being a wife and mom, along with all of her other accomplishments and goals. But when you take it in context with a previous interview she did at the Red Table, where she said, I have zero male attention, and I begin to internalize that, like, is something wrong with me? I'm like, that's not fair. I don't want it. But it would be nice to know that someone's talking. Makes it all sound like something you should tell a therapist and prep an explanation for your kid's therapist one day after they hear this shit. In a world where attention is the new currency, just like the old currency, some is good and some is bad, but it all spins the same, and you do have to deal with how you got it. To all my creatives, I'm not telling you to hold your tongue or not to be honest with yourself. I will tell you that you don't need to be honest with yourself strictly for the benefit of the public. They don't owe you an opportunity to explain yourself or fairness in your results. The best way to deal with your issues, if you don't want them to run away with you, is in the privacy of a therapist's office. Otherwise, the overshadowing of everything else is going to be the new currency that you get, whether you want it or not. And the taxes are murder. Like, share, repost, and subscribe.